Here at Brothers Solar Collector. Supposedly got it about done. What the panels look like. Subframe. After got everything wired back. These are the inverters. Converts it to DC to AC, as I understand it. Too bad they ain't on today, they'd be generating some. One on that row. 3 rows, supposedly about 50 kilowatt. Stuck on there pretty good. Leftover wire. Must be the disconnect.
So the bad news, good news in solar is, good news is there's no moving parts. Bad news is there's no moving parts. What you see is what you see. There's nothing to see.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I'll show you on the inverters and stuff you can see. But typically, the only thing you guys would ever be concerned with if you ever wanted to turn it off, really have no reason to touch any of this stuff. But if you wanted to, for whatever reason, just turn this to the off position. This is just where you're tied into your side of the meter to the utility. This runs back, and I'll show you the sub panel back here and turns the sub panel off. So we've got 2 places to turn the AC power off. One is right here. This is what Ameren.
Now is that's AC power over here and
right back
DC to the diverters?
Yep.
And yep.
So this is what Ameren requires. You know, this kind of stuff, visible blade disconnect by the meter, all utilities. So
now let me ask you this: when if the power goes out and he fires up the generator, there's switching there so it doesn't
right doesn't
backfeed or whatever.
Right.
Yep.
Yep, stays off.
Where is that then? Is that inside the meter?
Yeah, the inverters do that.
Okay.
They sense that.
Okay.
And the way he tied this in is, and I don't remember how exactly, but it's on.
Okay.
It's not going to energize. You got a transfer switch.
Yep. So on the double throw, it won't backfeed through the. Yeah, I got you.
On the other side. But anyway, you can turn it off here. But this is Ameren's switch.
So what does, when Ameren comes out and has to do their thing, what do they do? Is it a different meter? Is it a programmable meter?
They program
How does
this meter. They it is typically, you know, it's digital. It used to be the old days. It was the dial meter.
Right.
And that was more fun because we'd be going like this, and all of a sudden the solar would come on and slow down, and it'd kind of shake, and then start going the other way. And that's a whole lot more fun to watch than these. Anything you feed back, and we'll have to get with Ameren. We can call them. You know, typically I'll be here for inspections, and they just didn't let us know when they were going to be here. But it'll go through 4 or 5 things, and one of them is what you've purchased. Probably this one, 114 kilowatts. and then it'll flash another one, it'll go to 0, then it'll flash another one. And we'll just have to find out from them. I'll call them to figure out on this 01, 02, 03
what they are.
And then that way you can keep up with what you're sending back and match it against your bills.
So it does all that itself internally in the meter. It'll
Right.
measure what's coming through the solar,
Yeah,
and differentiates what's coming from them or us here
Correct.
at the meter.
It's bidirectional, we call it bidirectional meter, and so it's going to read everything that they feed you, and it's going to read everything you feed them.
Okay.
And then they're going to do the math at the end of the month. You know,
Okay.
if you bought 100 and you sold 90, well then they're only going to charge you for 10. If you bought 100 and sent back 110, then they're going to give you a credit for 10.
Okay.
And it's a net meter, so it's going to be the same thing. You know, you pay 11 or 12, they're going to credit you 11.
Whatever you.
Yeah.
So it is on now then.
Oh yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that's why we had to wait for them. In the old days, they called it guerrilla solar. You just show up and do it, and boom, you go. Not even, this is back 20 years ago. And utilities got smart, and so their meters now, and people still say, well, can't you just turn it on? I go, I can. But anything you sent back gets added to your bill. You know, they figured out until they reprogram it. You send it
I see.
back, it just adds an extra 100 to your
Right,
bill.
there's no way to differentiate it.
No.
Is there any way they can shut the solar off? There isn't, is there?
Not remotely, no. Not
Right.
unless they kill your.
Right.
And really, the only way to do it is turn the. They pull the meter, that'll kill it. But typically, if they're going to
disconnect.
come in here and do any kind of work, they'll probably throw that switch over there. In reality, the inverters have to pass a UL test to where they anti-island. So when the power goes off, or they don't sense the AC signal and frequency and voltage is just perfect, well, they shut down. And they do. I mean, they
Will they let you know then? Well, we can talk about the inverters when we get over there, but
yeah, the inverters do. If you don't have monitoring, and I think you guys are talking about setting up, a router and whatnot over here. If you don't have that, you just look on the face. I'll show you how to read the inverters, which you kind of do anyway. You guys are up here so much, just walk through and have a look. I don't specifically look every time at what it's doing and do all that, but I do look at the lights. The lights are
there's status lights on them.
Yeah,
So if we get the access wirelessly, and they can see the wire, we get those on the router, then we will be able to look at each individual inverter. Then is that how it'll work?
Yeah,
and then, or will there be a sum, or is there an app that sums all?
Yeah, it'll sum.
Okay.
And you can look individually as well, and it'll tell you each inverter. It'll give you a real-time output. Within, I think it's either every 7 or 15 minute update, and then it'll give you a cumulative. You'll be able to look at it historically, and that helps us too. I mean,
Right.
Not everybody's doing it because some of them are more remote than
Right.
others are. And if you don't, that's fine too. But
So is there an app we need to download then?
yeah, we'll do all that.
Okay, cool.
When Mike
Okay.
gets here and we start doing all the IT stuff.
Okay.
we'll
Okay, cool.
download all
Okay.
that stuff and get you
When will that
ready to
be?
go.
When's
We're coming back over the week. Right now, it looks like the week of the 26th to start more projects. So unless he comes earlier,
Okay.
or unless because I can't remember, and I apologize if you guys were going to do something on the router side. If you guys had something to do, or if it's already ready.
Well, we're under the impression that it's ready because we can get Wi-Fi out
You
here.
get Wi-Fi. Okay. Well, I'll talk to Mike today then and see if there's something I can do while I'm here. But typically, I'm all about pushing that off
To him. No, I understand. I just didn't know how it all played out. But
Yeah, I'll
my friend's got a solar collector, and he gets on his phone all the time and says, "Hey, man, I made this much." Yeah, it kind of makes you feel better about spending all that money.
Well, yeah, you can look at it, and you can also look at it and go, well, something's not
Right.
not right.
And I assume once that's all set up, if something does go down, it'll send you some kind of warning.
It sends you alerts, all kinds of alerts, and it helps us because we've got a guy in the office. We've got a bunch of them that we monitor, and they'll look at it and go, "Wow," just occasionally, once
Something's
or twice
happened
a
here.
week, they'll look at it. Or if you guys say it just doesn't feel right, then we can look at it remotely. all these are Fronius primos. You should never have to even touch them. They just, the way the DC, to turn the DC off, there's a little switch under here. You should never ever have to touch this.
Okay.
But it's load rated, so you can turn it off. If you ever do want to turn it off, I'd recommend opening the sub panel. We'll look at that. Turn the breakers off, and then reach under here and flip this thing. But really, there's no reason for you guys to do that. It's this guy right here. See him right there?
Yeah.
And then right here, it gives you this is what it's doing right now. It's a little over 7.3 kW more or less out of this one. And you can click on this. There's 2 maximum power points where it checks voltage and amperage, and it picks the peak of those lines. So we've got 3. Most inverters are the same. That one's a little different the way we strung it. But, so we've got 3 strings going into 1 and 1 going into 2.
Oh, okay.
So
I
2
see.
is always going to be like a third of what.
Right.
Is. And that's probably more information than you guys. This is the main screen. Let's see. And then you've got home, log, info. Again, you don't really. There's really no reason to get in any of that.
But the status lights are.
Status lights are green, yellow, red.
Okay.
See any of
You got to get in. You got to get in line with it.
At the right angle. But and if you're up in the screen, sometimes the screens will just they'll turn themselves off to save energy. You can always just hit this button.
Okay.
You're not going to hurt it. It's like a.
What's the significance of this? I mean, green's obviously good. Yellow means.
Yellow sometimes. Red is the worst, of course. Red's always like some sort of
Fault.
failure or fault. Yellow's got some kind of just an alert. Like when I came and turned them back on after I came in and programmed them and tested everything and then turned it off until Amron got here. And when I came back, they had yellow light and it just said error 509. You know, everybody's got their own error codes, and that just means the sun's been out and the inverters hadn't been working. What's going on? You know. What's the deal? And that was yellow.
So if we had a power outage where the generator started up and it disconnected the system and everything came back online, would you expect that to throw any kind of an error message here? Okay.
No. You know, it might turn. Well, yeah, it'll turn yellow when it goes off, saying
something's wrong.
Something's wrong, but eventually it'll shut itself down. I mean, it shuts down instantaneously.
Right, but when on the startup, when you come back out here,
it syncs for about 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes because it's going to say, okay, something's happened
on the restart.
It looks good, but it takes 5 minutes, and it's called an AC grid test. And it'll have a little bar go across the bottom, and it'll just about 5 minutes. And this is where, you know, you can always walk up and look at them and make sure they're doing good. But on the app, you know, when you have it on the computer or on your phones, that's where you can actually see it real time. This is the sub panel, and you know, it's got spares, but I'd recommend not putting anything in there. I mean, you can, but, and so we got the main. You can throw the main, and then it's boom, boom.
Is that a 200 amps low voltage service then?
200 amp, 240, single phase.
Well, how are these labeled then, Pete?
Just like this, just like they're.
Oh, just like they're sitting here.
Yeah, this one is this guy right here. These 2 are 1 and 2. Let's see where are, and this one is 3. As far as the back are 4 on the back.
Each inverter has how many panels then?
I don't remember. 436, I believe. We've got a few less on this one because we strung from.
Well, maybe my question more is, how do you know when a panel goes bad?
That's part of the monitoring, and then you'll be able to watch your. And I hadn't really ever seen a metal monitor go bad, other than being shot.
Physically damaged.
Yeah. But you'll be able to do it, and it's just a matter of the monitoring part. Once we get that on, and then looking at your, you know, looking at them and going, well, something's not not exactly.
It's not putting out what it used to.
And just physical inspections. You know, you guys, as you're working around here, you know, just walk back. And if ever there's squirrels or birds, you know, squirrels not so much here. I don't know what the creature would be here that likes to get up in there, but sometimes
Chewing on wiring or something.
Yeah, it's warm. You know, it gets warm under those things. It's out of the weather.
Knocking bird nests down is probably
birds are going to be the biggest issue.
Yeah, keep them out of there, because what'll happen is they, you know, I've seen squirrels, rats. I was in Florida, and big system had a ground fault, and those are terrible finding ground faults. Crawled up under there, and sure enough, there was a rat nest, and all of them fried. Just fried them all, but they like to chew on that TV wire. It's warm. It's probably got a little vibration in it, you know, to them. But that's the main thing, is keeping, you know, a physical view of the wire. Maybe walk the fronts, check the modules occasionally. Especially if do you guys have hail? Much hail?
not really.
I've never seen hail damage. You know, we've got a lot of systems in Florida. I mean, a lot.
I shouldn't say that. By the time we say that, a big old hailstorm's going to come through.
Well, I tell people I've seen beer bottles, bullet holes, tornado damage.
Yeah.
I've seen all that, but never, you know, seen
hail break them.
And we've got tons of hail. We've got systems in Florida that it hails #1 hail and lightning capital of the country. And hadn't really seen much there. Well, none. I've never seen hail damage, but I was in that with, you know, axe guide or axe guide and a coconut-sized piece of hail is going to do something.
Yeah.
How sensitive are these inverters to lightning strikes?
They're pretty. They self-protect.
Do they?
You know,
Okay.
Yeah, they're fused.
The only reason I asked, we had a tractor. We used to have a grain leg over here, and it got hit by lightning. We had a tractor sitting probably 100 yards away from it, and it fried all the computers in the tractor. Yeah.
Yeah, lightning out here is pretty intense.
Well, that's a good question. We're sitting here on top of the hill.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a big lightning rod.
Exactly.
Well, I've got what we did on this. I fused all the strings inside the inverter. Each have got their own strings coming in from the array. The arrays
so they would be
back to the inverters, and then these things, well, you know, that
right, the ground.
Feet in the ground. So it's a pretty good ground.
Is that how deep these are? They're 10 feet in the ground.
They're these things are what, 12?
They're 14
feet
pieces,
tall.
and they're 68 inches above ground.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they pounded that. So it's a good ground.
Yeah. You don't get any better than that, do you?
It's a good ground, and then all the everything's bonded together. You know, the way they
right.
do this.
Right.
In the old days, we had to run bare copper from one module
to ground.
It was incredible. But now they've got the clamps you put on them bonded, and then they bond it to the mounting hardware, which is bonded to the rest of it.
Yeah. Huh. Looks good, Keith.
What do we do if we have an issue? What is the tech support, or how
you
is
just
that?
You call me or call anybody at Coastal. You know, you can call Aaron, but all he's going to do is call.
Direct,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then what I'm going to do is probably ask some questions, and then if we have you on the monitoring piece, I'll look at that, and then we'll have Swanson or Ross or who. We've got 3 electricians we're working with out here right now. And I would call Chad and go, Chad, I need you to go look at this, and then from that point, it'd be a visit. I mean, we did these 4 systems, and then looks like we've got about 3 or 4 more at the end of this month. We're going to be back doing.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so we're setting up shop basically. So
well, good for you.
we're going to have a maintenance program figured out where we can respond pretty quick. You know, hopefully that'll never have to happen, but if it does. But it's, you know, luckily you guys, the ground mounts are easier to maintain and easier to.
Right.
Yeah, Mike Cox, we did his. He's got a nice system, a little smaller than this, but it's roof mount on the farm. It looks really good. But man, accessing that, if he's got a problem in the middle, it's a nightmare.
What is their maintenance to the panels?
Really nothing. what I'd recommend is, well, usually in the south, you know, when pollen is bad, pollen season, right after that, usually 1st of June, you clean them, and then again in the fall. So you can kind of keep an eye on them when they get dusty, and the dust doesn't go away with the rain. You know, maybe once a year, twice a year max. Just rub them.
Is it okay to use cleaners, or
I just do water.
just rinse them off?
That's what I.
Yeah,
and you
okay.
just use a stiff brush, you know, a medium to stiff brush or
Yeah.
bristle brush.
We've got long extendable scrub brushes
Yeah,
we
that's what
use on the
We use
trucks.
like
and
a,
what's
tucker
what do I see on this one up here? Why does that look?
Oh, it's a piece of tape or paper or something.
No, I think it's just the glare off the
Oh,
seams.
you talking about these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks different than the others. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at this.
Huh.
Gonna be more about the damn bird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say too,
Yeah, what
Todd.
happens is the birds, man, they love them. Down on the coast, it's like a target, and eventually
The loose goose.
yeah, they are loose. I mean, big nasties, and what'll happen over time if you don't do it, the way all these electrons flow in there, they think this is a load, you know, when it's a load of shit, but they think it's an electrical load, and they'll flow to that little hot spot instead of going where we want them to go back over to the inverters. So if you get a ton of, you know, a lot of that on there, you want to clean that.
But just a garden hose strung out here and a scrub brush is all
Yeah.
we.
That's all you need. If
Yeah.
you got an extension.
Yeah, oh,
don't
yeah.
use a squeegee, because the squeegee will leave a black mark. And that's, you don't
Scrub
want
them and rinse them off.
Yep, scrub them. And these are not so tall where it wouldn't be a terrible. But no, it's like sow. Sometimes I wish they would open and unfold and rotate and do all this, but there's really nothing.
Yeah, this is pretty simple though, really. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a big building.
Well, I
but
hesitate to tell people how simple it really is.
is there? Do you have a plan for what we're going to do underneath them, Todd?
Mow it.
You're just going to mow it?
I've mowed it once already, and it's not that big. I got a
Push
little
mower.
string push mower. It rolls easy.
Oh, you've pushed this over a little
I
bit.
started. I needed to let it dry out.
I was out here, was it yesterday? And I went, look at me, hell. I was taking pictures. I was getting ready to call Chad and raise hell. I was going to get him over here. And
I had the garden hose out to try to get it to settle down.
yeah, it's sunk in the middle about.
But I'm saying I sprayed around all the pipe, so
Okay.
it's not. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It'd be a big freaking project to get gravel or something spread underneath it. So I think we're going to try.
Well, that's the thing to go first. If you don't like that, we can always put gravel under.
The Erickson's is going to be a bitch. It's in his soybean field.
I saw it out there.
And it looks good, or it did when we first put it in, but I'm over there pulling wire and stuff now, and I think soybean is like, it's just, I'm kicking them out of the way, and they're all up under there. And,
Oh, no kidding. They didn't
Oh.
mow them off or
No.
anything before you went in there.
no. I mean, of course, when we start, you know, they were
Yeah.
very big, but now they're actually, their feeders are grabbing the wire, because they leave the tail ends hanging down until I get there to wire it, and they're crawling up that wire.
No
Wow.
kidding.
Oh yeah. It's
Wouldn't think they'd be growing that much as dry as it is.
I don't know what they did over
Huh.
there. It's kind of super feed.
That's a big collector over there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's going to test Chad. I believe he's about beat up on that one already.
Well, he was saying how big the wire was and how far he had to go. It sounded pretty intense.
I told him, I said, man, I get it, but you just got to put your first. You just got to start.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's the only way to get to the end.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. We're waiting for him to come over here to put in a couple of mains here. How many
He's a busy guy.
how many more solar panels do they have to wire for you?
Well,
Or
we got
Nelson.
Nelson coming up.
Are they doing both their facilities or
Just the one.
the home farm?
Is that which one it is? Yeah. And it's about the same, a little bit smaller than Ericsson's.
Is it?
165.
Gosh, I figured it was bigger than Ericsson's.
No, just a tad smaller. It's going to look the same. It's going to have 10 rows, but just a little bit smaller. And
well, that's. I mean, I don't have any problems with how this went together.
Really?
If we had it to do over again, the only thing I would like to have done different is have it planned out a little bit better, because we trenched 3 times as far as what we needed to.
Well,
if we would have been
that's what I told him. I said at Nelson. So I've got the layout, and so those guys, everything when those, well, you know, when those post pound, those guys don't stop. They come, they just go.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wish. But I mean, don't misunderstand me. It's gone together nicely, but hindsight, looking back,
and that's what we're doing at Nelson's. I told him, I said, check it. And I told, we're getting 2 quotes on that. One from Ross, REB Electric. I don't know if you know those guys. I don't even know where.
That Cambridge? I don't know.
I don't know. He did Kaler for us, the Kaler brothers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He did their job. But nice guy. But he and I both looked at it yesterday when I was over there, and said, yeah, I'll do the layout, and then they'll start pounding posts, but you guys do the trench.
Yeah.
Straight up, and in the same way, it'll go straight up the middle.
Yeah.
And that would have been a whole lot easier. You know, it doesn't affect the, you know, we sized the wire for it and everything, but it would have been
Just cleaner. I mean.
Well, yeah.
It's that's.
This piece, of course, next year you'll never know it, but still, it would have been.
But it is what it is. So. But I think it looks good, and
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we're definitely going to want to get on the wireless.
Yeah.
Be able to
Yeah.
monitor. 'Cause
let's see. You've got wireless out here. Let me look at mine.